Okay, greetings from Mahagi. I'm in Congo, in northeastern part of the country. And during my presentation, I will have a chance to present to you the map of DRC, and then you can have an idea on my location very close to the DRC-Uganda border. And I am really so grateful for the invitation to this conference. When I was asked to say something about my personal experience, I was wondering whether or not that would be possible. And thank you very much. I'm feeling very honored by this invitation. My name is Tony UKETY, and I am an ophthalmologist by training. And I would like really to share with you my personal experience in communicating using emails in medical mission. So who am I? As I just said, I am an ophthalmologist since the 23rd of December, 1986. That makes approximately 30 years of experience. So as you can see, I'm old, and today I'm already 71. And,
Wow.
I'm not expert like you in IT. I am in a different field, an ophthalmologist. So, however, during my career, I used a lot the tools you are expert in. I'm going to share with you what I've experienced during all those years. And for 38 years now, I took 3 different jobs in my life. The first job, I was the sole and rural ophthalmologist working at the Evangelical Medical Center at Nyankunde in northeastern DRC from 15th of January 1987, and I left Nyankunde that time on the 31st of October 2003. Why? Because at that time I got another job, my second job, and I moved out of the country. So this first job took me 16 years almost in northeastern Congo. My second job, as I mentioned, I left the country. I got a job with the World Health Organization in Geneva, in Switzerland. I was an international civil servant, and I started my second career on the 15th of November 2003 until I officially retired. And my retirement took place on the 31st of May 2016. So as you can see, I spent almost 12 years in Switzerland, and during those 12 years and a half, I traveled almost to different places over the world. I went to the Americas. I visited several countries in Africa, including Nigeria. I went to Asia. I went up to Australia one time. I was in Sydney. I was very privileged, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity of 12 years as an international civil servant. And I said that I retired on the 31st of May, 2016. I was supposed to be somewhere resting, but that was not the case. I started a third job as a retired researcher at a research center with the church, still in northeastern Congo, and that research center was linked to another church called SECA 20, which stands for the Evangelical Community in the Heart of Africa. And that job, I took it up from the 1st of August 2019 until today. So you can see I'm still working, and now it has been almost more than 6 years actually. I've been doing this research work here in northeastern Congo. I'm not alone. I have a family. And this is a photo which illustrates my big family. And my family today, we have a team of 13 members. And the first member, of course, is myself. And my spouse is here, Mrs. Fanny. She's there. And God gave us 4 boys. Patrick, number 1 in red. Number 2, Christian, he is here. Number 3, Edwin, he is there. So, and the last boy is Serge, just here in the middle. Excuse me, in the middle. And 3 out of the 4 boys are married. So today we have 3 granddaughters. And the amazing thing about my family, the first granddaughter we got originally came from Tanzania. That's Lillian. She's here, married to Patrick. And the second granddaughter we had is from Kenya. And this is here, that's Barbara, married to my third boy here. And lastly, our last boy got married to a DRC lady. And here, this is Berth, who is our third granddaughter. And we are so pleased to have all these 3 granddaughters coming from 3 different countries. And we are also blessed by 4 grandchildren so far. The first ones, we have our grandchild here, Matthew and Noah, 2, Patrick and Lillian, and our third boy, Edwin. They have 2 daughters. The first one is here. That's Makina and Nyla. Nyla is here and Makina is here. So as you can see, a team of 13 people. We are so happy to have all of them. Another particular thing about our family is that our team has today 3 different nationalities. 4 of them are British, 4 of them are Canadians, and 5 of them are still Congolese. So you can, Patrick with his spouse from Tanzania, with the 2 boys, they are all today British citizen. And the third boy, Edwin here, and Barbara with the 2 daughters, Barbara who came from Kenya, and today they're all Canadians and they're living in Ottawa. Patrick, they start living in England, but today they are serving in Nairobi in Kenya. But our second boy, who is a single Christian, and the last boy, Serge, with his spouse, and with my dear spouse, we are still Congolese. I don't know what is going to happen next. So this is my family. I think now you know me better. I can now move on to the topic of our session. What are the objectives of our session today? I think I put it like this. I would like to share with you my personal experience in mainly dealing with communicating by emails during the past 34 years of my career. As I've just mentioned it, my career is split into three: the first job, second job, and the third job. My second objective, I would like to motivate you during this conference to be innovative, creative in the domain of computer technology in missions. Why? I have experienced it, and I think now you are ready to follow me in details. I would like to start with my second job. Why? Because my second job, as I mentioned to you, took place when my family was based in Geneva. And this is the office of the World Health Organization. My office was on the 6th floor, and we spent 12 years there. It was very exciting to live in Switzerland. Our landing in Switzerland was not a challenge. Why? Because we did have some friends who served as missionaries in our hospital in Congo. So our arrival in Switzerland was a very soft landing. We had a lot of friends in our church there. We joined a church where we knew people who had served in Congo. And working in that environment was very pleasant. We didn't have any challenge with communication. Why? Because within WHO, we were using the fibers optic cables to transmit data as light signals, which was offering us the fastest speeds and most reliable communication. I cannot tell you more about these cables because you know them better than me. So this was my experience during my second job in Switzerland, working in an environment where communication was not a challenge. What now about the 16 years of my first career, which started in 1987 and ended in 2003? Communication by emails was very special. Why? We did use two means of tools. The first one, I was amazed to see that using VHF radios could also help to transmit email messages. And later on, we ended up by using even satellite phones. I think you know how expensive it is to use satellite phones. But because we were in a remote area, very isolated, we were obliged to use satellite phones. Now, this is a map showing you in a big size the DRC. As you can see here, DRC is there. Nyakunde is location. We were located in this place in North northeastern Congo, and the capital of the country is on the left side. Here, Kinshasa. The distance between Kinshasa to Nyankunde is about 2,000 kilometers by air. And as you can see on the downside, the map of Africa and DRC is there in the center of the continent. So Kinshasa had the benefit of using very good internet connections because the fibers optics which come from the sea, Atlantic Ocean, come up to Kinshasa. But for someone who's living in Nyankunde, you can imagine how difficult, because we don't have internet cables linking Kinshasa to Nyankunde. That was a big challenge when I started my first career. Now, what was very special about Nyankunde, where I was sent, it was the hospital. This is an aerial view of Nyankunde, a village called Nyankunde, with a total population of about 30,000 people when I joined in there. That was in 1987. And upside here, we have Nyankunde is known about his hills and the hospital at the bottom of the hill. And the hospital was in this side here. Up to here, that was the hospital. And the downside here, we had another specificity of Nyankunde. It was a big base of the Mission Aviation Fellowship. Their hangar was down here, 2 hangars, and this one are the houses of the pilots. Maybe to show you in a better view, close-up view of the hospital. This is the hospital of Nyankunde. The wards are here. This is the operating room, the intensive care, the maternity, and the nursing schools, the dormitory for students, and aside here we had some nurses' houses. My own house was here under those trees, but it got demolished during the war. Very sorry for me. Maybe that's one of the reasons I cannot go back there now. This is the view of our hospital, a small village, but a very famous hospital, very well known all over northeastern Congo. And down here, this was the compound of MAF, the first hangar, nice to notice it. And the second hangar was here. And here you have some houses of the pilots. So this is where I lived for almost 16 years, where I experienced very special way of using emails. Now, how emails was set up in Nyankunde from 1994 up to 1998. As I said before, we were using radio HF, the HF radios. This is a photograph of HF radios. As I've heard, most of you have come from the missions, or I don't know whether or not this is the case in Nigeria, but during those years, this is how missions, different stations were communicating. But because of the MIF, we were lucky enough that they managed to set up a system of sending email messages by using this HF radio. Everybody has his or her computers at home with the floppy disks around here, and then we were saving all our messages on the floppy disks, and then go down to the hangar and then send them from the hangar using the HF radios, sending these messages to Kinshasa, where they could use the optic fibers. So this is mainly what we used for almost 4 years at this location. And sometimes they did change from HF radios to use the smaller radios, the VHF radios, and that came in from 1987 up to 1998. So they designed for doctors, health personnel, not to walk down to the hangar, but using the small radios from the office direct to the MAF hangar down, and then from the MAF hangar, send a message to Kinshasa, and then from the Kinshasa to go all over the world. So the VHF radios, I don't know how they were doing it, but
Dr. Tony,
yes?
Please, we have network issue here. Please, can you just pause for a moment? And when we sort out the issue, then you can please resume.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So please, you'll help us go back to where you mentioned that your house was destroyed during the war. That's when we lost you, please.
Okay, let me go down backwards. Thank you. So this is the hangar, and the two hangars are there, and the houses of the pilots. And we did use the HF radios. This is the first time we were using the HF radios as the mean of transmitting our email messages. And health personnel from the hospital coming down with the messages saved in the floppy disks, and then to use one computer in the hangar where the HF radios was located. And then using these HF radios, sending the messages to Kinshasa, and then from Kinshasa to meet the international fiber optics directly to the rest of the world. And later on, around 1998, we performed again the system using the radios. They went down using the smaller radios called the VHF radios. And with this one, people from the hospital had to use directly from their office down to the hangar. And these small radios allowed us to send out our messages without walking down to the hangar. So later on, something happened to us. The satellite phones was on the market. And then we were able to use the satellite phones in order to send out messages. You can imagine from 1999 up to 2003, it was very expensive at those years. The first satellite phone I bought was the NIRA. This is the photo of the NIRA. Upside it, you can cover it, and then the same cover serves as the antenna for this satellite phone, that with the cable in the middle, and then you take the cover, you put it outside, and then direct it to the satellite. And this is the way we were communicating between 1999 up to 2003. And I started using this to send out messages. It was very expensive. Calling someone using this satellite phone was very expensive. For 5 minutes only, one could pay easily $10. So you can see very expensive tool, useful, but very expensive. Nobody in Africa, in our rural area, could afford that without external funding. And this tool was very, very useful when the war broke in 1997, when people left Nyankunde, and then I ran away in the north. I had this phone with me, and we want to see what to inform our friends, missionaries in Switzerland. We managed to communicate with them using this phone. And later on, in 2003 and 2004, we used another model called Turaya. And this one was very useful. It helped my team to conduct a survey in a bush about a disease called Loa Loa. And I remember I left Congo. I was in my office in Geneva. My team could still call me using this type of phone. Of course, the cost was very, very high. Now, this is during my first job using mainly HF radios and using satellite phones. But as you can see the challenge here, the cost was really a big barrier. And I went to Geneva, used the modern technology, everything was okay. And after that, I retired in 2016. I was lucky enough in 2019, we got funding to conduct a research in collaboration with the World Health Organization. So what challenges, how did we address the email communication during this third job I took up? We mainly use VSATs in order to exchange with the rest of the world. Sometimes we were using also the fixed wireless providers. I will come to that later, show you images. Maybe you understand the terminology better than myself. And lucky enough, during the past 2 months, we are using Starlink. Actually, if I'm able to communicate with you, it is just because I'm linked to the Starlink. I'll give you more details later on. Now, during these past years, as I said, we did use 4 different VSAT providers and 2 fixed wireless ones. Why were we changing things quite often? Just because technology, you know it better than me, is changing very, very fast these days. Let me now give you the type of the VSAT we used during the last past years. The first provider, called La Grasse Net, served one of the dish here. You see this dish is very, very big. This dish, the center received it more than about 15 years now, in 2009, 2010. And when we started our research project in 2019, we did use this dish, and the provider was located in Bunia at about 200 kilometers south of the research center. Look at the speed here, very, very less. Only 512 for download and 252 kilobytes per second for uploads. And just bear with me, this was the cost. $1,000 per month in order to use this tool here. Without any support, If it was not for research purposes, I don't think that I would have been able to use this technology. The second provider, satellite provider, Ecotel. We were lucky. As I said, we are at the border. We managed to get to Kampala in Uganda. We got another provider who was serving us at the almost half the cost, $600 per month, with a good service, a good speed, 15 megabits for the first time, 15 more times, 15 megabits per second for downloads and 3 megabits per second for uploads. And the difference, the dish is smaller, and but the cost is okay, and things were improving. Second one, Ecotel from Uganda. And in this world, there is a lot of competition. Someone left Ecotel and created his own company, and he had my contact. And then he approached me, please, Tony, we have a company here. We are going to serve you more than what Ecotel is giving you with the speed of 25 megabits per second for download and the same for upload. But he increased a bit the cost at 620 US dollars per month. That was the Blue Crane based in Kampala as well. And the product, almost the same product. But we had to shift and use its service because of the speed. The fourth one, which we subscribed for, came from Belgium. This is Global TT, and this happened in March this year. They are based in Leuven in Belgium, giving us almost the same thing, and at this cost, I think this is a mistake here. I'm sorry. The cost here is half of it, is 300. That's why we shifted from the Uganda providers to the Belgian provider, using almost the same type of equipment, which you understand better than me. And sometimes on two occasions, we had to change to the fixed wireless providers. And the difference with the satellite, the first one was Teco Plus from Goma. I think the speed was the same, but we got it at this price. And the equipment, the dish is again smaller. And that one you put on top of the roof. And when we discontinued our subscription, finally they got back their dishes. After Teco Plus, we also used another one from Mahagi here with a Catholic station called Caritas. They have a kind of small dish which connect with the local phone companies. As you can see, the cost went down, but the speed was still sometimes about 3 megabits, a bit slow. So this is our experience with both the VSATs and the fixed wireless providers tools as I've shown here. And now, about 2 months ago, since DRC government approved Starlink to operate in DRC, it has drastically changed things. This is Starlink. Now, the Starlink, very small box like this, the antenna is there, the cable is there, and this is where I'm talking to you. I'm in this house now as I'm talking to you. This is where I'm located. And my dish is that outside here. You can see the cables comes here up to my office. This is the window where I'm talking to you now. And this is the close-up view of the dish used by Starlink, pointed to the satellites. And just near my computer here, this is the modem I'm using. So this is how things have been really simplified for us. You can follow me very well. You can see me very well. And we are so grateful for this development. This is coming from the US. You know it very well. The performance, perfect. Can you imagine jumping from 3 megabits per second up to now 400, just like with the fiber optics for downloads. For the uploads, it can go up to 50 megabits per second. And what about the cost? Very cheap, $50 a month for individuals, or if you're a small company like us, we are using $80 per month. This is really very big change. Let me show you here on these slides the comparison between Starlink and the phone company. And this slides just shows the speed we have between Orange, the satellite phone, the VSAT, Global TT, the speed is there, and this is the Starlink. This was taken about, I measured this about 2 weeks ago. The download is 226 and the upload is 16. Whereas when you're using a simple phone to send your emails, it is not even 1 megabit per second. And the upload even less. And yesterday, so you can see this is the comparison of speed here, jumping from almost about 1 up to 200. Fantastic. And yesterday, I tried to measure the speed. You can see the download is 262 and the upload 22. Fantastic. What a change from HF radios to Starlink. I'm not making a publicity of Starlink, but this is the reality if you want to simplify things. And what about the cost? This show you the cost. $60 per month for Orange with a speed less than 1. Global TT, we were paying $354. We are paying because the Global TT is still there per month, 300 for this speed, and comparing to this speed with Starlink, and less than $100 a month. Fantastic. So this is my experience, starting with HF radios up to Starlink. I think you have understood my excitement about what I've experienced all those years. However, we do have challenges. If today the DRC government had not accepted giving a license to Starlink, we would have been still behind. Because of the war in DRC, our government was pushed to accept Starlink to operate in DRC. Today, if you go to the website of Starlink, you'll see and discover those countries who have allowed Starlink to operate in their countries. And political will is a big challenge. In our case in DRC, without the war situation in Eastern Congo, I don't think that the government would have accepted for Starlink to operate in DRC. I don't know how many countries today Starlink can operate, but those, Uganda, our neighbor, accepted one time, but for political reasons, they abolished their license. They stopped the license. And that's very sad for those who are working in the remote areas. Second challenge, the power source. Today is not the topic. Power source is a real problem. But today we have a solution, solars. Solar is the solution. Today, with lithium batteries, we can do wonders. If you go to China today, with less than $5,000, you'll be able to have lithium batteries who can work as good as hydroelectricity or the regular power source. And it lasts for 15 years. Number three, lack of equipment and gadgets, appropriate ones for our remote areas. The last one, and not the least, is human resources sufficiency. Today, you are there gathering new knowledge, how to use these new technology in order to send out the gospel, preach the gospel, to share our belief, to share what we really trust in this world. Without you guys, it would be very difficult to exchange information. So this is what I really wanted to share with you, to challenge you to take advantage of these 3 days of training, to gather enough information so that you can be capable to allow those serving in the missions to widespread the good news. In conclusion, it is possible to embrace new computer technology in remote areas, like in our case in Africa, for mission purposes. But this will require a commitment from you guys and building capacity, as today ICCM is conducting in Nigeria. And I'm very proud about that. Why? Because if you succeed in Nigeria, that is big part of Africa already because of your population. And thank you very much for the organizers. And Nigeria is the best place to start this campaign. With that, I think I'm at the end of my presentation, and I cannot stop without acknowledging those who have allowed us to do something in remote areas. Number one, the Mission Aviation Fellowship, because they're the one who brought this technology to us in our remote areas. And I would like also to thank the World Health Organization, where I spent 12 years to widespread my knowledge about what is going on in the world. I cannot forget my church, which was founded by African Land Mission. The branch in Congo is called SECA 20. And the two organizations where I worked. Number one, the Evangelical Medical Center, where I spent 16 years in northeastern Congo. And this is where I gained experience, which allowed me to become an international civil servant. And because of that knowledge today, even during my retirement, I can still serve as a researcher in remote areas where I'm trying to build capacity with young Christians in the medical field. With that, I thank you for listening.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Tony UKETY, please, we'll just want to ask you to stay for a few minutes. Do you have any question for him? Okay, how about Musa Hall? Can we see amazing people in Musa Hall? Musa. They are the Musa species. Yeah. Okay, so do you have any question for Dr. Tony? Our friends in Musa. Wow, they are very serious. Okay, so once again, somebody goes in. Okay, good, you can see me. Thank you. So once again, Dr. Tony, we want to say a very big thank you for your presentation and for taking time to share with us. Thank you and God bless you. Can we please celebrate Dr. Tony with us?